Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. This is what you're reading, meaning I'm going to talk about all the comics that I've read, and then I'm also going to show all the new comics that I got. Once a month I get comics from Discount Comic Book Service, and I open them up, I show them off, and then I organize them and everything. So I can't start reading them and stuff like that until I actually do the organizing and unboxing, because that's how obsessive I am. So I'm going to make this big. Nobody needs to see me gigantic. So this is actually part of a back issue bonanza. I just threw this on there because I wasn't thinking. As you can see, I was ill prepared. So whenever I don't have a guest, I'll do things like this. So let's do order of business first. So tomorrow, Fabrizio Aiello of Horace H. Hoover gave me the idea of doing an auction, hosting an auction. So tomorrow, this doesn't look right. This looks like a little up. Let me just wipe it tiny. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Let's do this, get a little bit more light over here. So Fabrizio Aiello gave me the idea of hosting an auction. So I said, all right. So then I threw it out there, and I was like, all right, let me host an auction. So first off, I get nothing out of it. I'm not an artist. I have nothing to sell. I just think it would be fun, and it's just a cool thing to do. So tomorrow at 7 p.m., I will host an auction. The rules are just confirm that you want to be in, and I'll send you the link. And then you pop in, first come, first serve. You sell something, we rotate to the next person. If it's only 2 people, we'll go back and forth. If it's 10 people, everybody gets one shot. So that's the way it's going to work. And if we'll do it periodically. I want to do the pitch black. I'll do the auctions. I got stuff to rotate with. So that's that. And the seller sets the rules. If they don't want to ship international, just be clear. So I'm gonna follow Pete Samedi's way he does the auctions. So that's. Yes, this is a Hellboy coffee cup. I'm going to follow Pete Samedi's method of doing it. It'll be my first time. It might be bumpy. So, I'm just going to make up names. Phil Moskowitz says I don't want to ship internationally. That's his rules. He's going to say $50 opening bid. That's his rules. And then whatever. All right. So that's the way we'll do that. So that's tomorrow. Anybody who wants to pop in, I'll put the link in. And so we got 2 people that I sent the links out. All right. Anybody else wants to pop in, please do. Also at 8:30, we're going to have everybody's favorite. It's clobbering time, Man Thing versus Swamp Thing. Oh man, I love that. That's not even a joke. That's like the high point of my week is just talking nerdy stuff about comic books. That's what I like to talk about. That's, I'm not joking. 8 hours a day. I could talk about it at work, but everybody at work is talking about the weather. Oh, by the way, I ate an entire box of Girl Scout cookies. So there we go. Everybody at work is talking about sports and the weather. I don't want to talk about that. So I'm actually pretty quiet at work. Once in a while, I'll find somebody and talk comic books with them. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about comic books for people. I'm going to go down the list of the people in the chat. I'll address the chat, and then we'll start talking about all my nonsense. Creative Welshman, may I come in and shoot the window? Yeah, the link is in the chat. Here is the link if anybody wants to pop in. There you go. So just anybody's welcome. Anybody's welcome. Just keep in mind, don't curse. I like to keep the illusion going that somebody's watching this with their kids to learn about comic books. So that's just let me have my illusions. Praetor7 says, what's up? Also, I'm nearly done with the script for Eddie is Doomed. It's so good. It's so good. My goal is to send it to Tonic Mole and Oscar tonight, right after this talk. I'll go back to finishing it. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm up to 30 pages right now, and I still got a little bit more. I think I'm at 35 pages. I forget. But so the original script was 11 pages, and I thought Tonic Mole would make it bigger with artwork, but nope. So that is so good. I'm going to spoil you guys with something. How would you like to be spoiled? Let's see. Give me a shout out if you want to be spoiled. I gotta. How do I spoil this? Okay, do you guys want to be spoiled? I'm getting something while I'm talking. Let's see. You guys want to be spoiled? I want to spoil you. So I'm going to share my screen for a second, and I'm going to show this. And how do you like that? That is the first page for Eddie is Doomed. That is the first page. I'm going to send that to Bill Williams probably tomorrow to letter it. And we're going to. It is the first page in the Earth is Doomed, the Doomed Earth fake comic book that Eddie is reading, and it's supposed to be like this. You know when you read ROM back in the 80s? If you guys are old enough to read ROM, the first page of ROM was also an advertisement that was in every comics. That's it. But look at that. That is just Oscar's just amazing artwork. Guys, how cool is that? How freaking cool is that? You know? Oh, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. So Eddie is Doomed is well on its way. And you know what else is well on its way? A creative Welshman is on its way. How you doing?
Hello, everyone.
How's it going? How's it going? I'm just going down the list of. So that is the link. If anybody else wants to pop in, talk comics with me. Creative Welshman is in 2 different places. He's on my screen and he's in my chat. He's got superpowers. The seer of all that is obvious. Anybody else old enough to remember Harvey Comics? Yeah, I remember Harvey Comics. I remember Harvey Comics cartoons. Wendy, Hot Stuff, Casper. Yeah,
it might be before my time.
Harvey Comics, I think, lasted till the late 70s. You know, they were like a wholesome rival to Archie, but they had like devils and witches and ghosts and stuff. Harvey Comics were fun. Creative Welshman is all over the place today. Nice lady, nice butt. Oh yeah. The Don. Hey Don, you want to come in and talk comics? Come on in, Don. Rumor has it that tomorrow night is the Patriarch's turn. We're going to be drawing the Patriarch. Matt Bauer, he's listening but drawing. Hail the chat. Damn it, dude. All I have is digital stuff. You need to get Marcus and James on. They have lots of traditional art to sell. Yeah. Marcus, James, you're all welcome. You're all welcome to come in. And this absolutely, this is a Hellboy mug. Everything's nerdy in this house.
It's the way it should be.
Taking a sip. Creative Welshman. Again, I don't have a comic to sell, but I don't mind. Yeah. This isn't a shill stream. This is just me talking about comics that I've read and or bought. I'll be on for Clobbering Time. I'll be drawing Swamp Thing. Oh, cool. God, I was just about to say, have it done beforehand. We could auction it off. No, you know, but that.
Well, I don't really know much about Swamp Thing or Man Thing.
Okay, well, that's 8:30 tomorrow. You'll learn everything. For those of you who've never seen us do, it's Clobbering Time. Marcus is usually on with me, and Marcus knows more comics than me. I got to be honest, and I'm just trying to move this because I like to pretend it's the Eye of Agamotto. But we usually do like the history of the characters, you know, some stories, you know, some real life world about creators, stuff like that, and then we do the battle. So if you pay attention, we try to do a fun and informative show. I love it. Sunday comics and it's Clobbering Time are my 2 favorite things. Team Swamp Thing. Yeah, okay.
I mean, so like, I didn't know there was 8 versions of Clayface.
I didn't know that either. I learned that. I thought I knew 3 off the top of my head, and I thought there was like like maybe 1 short term, but I didn't know 8 because it's not really that good of a name to be recycled. Fabrizio's lurking. Fabrizio, you going to come in on the auction? Because I know a couple of people aren't ready yet, but you know, it won't be my only time doing it. It won't be it's just I didn't have a guest lined up for the 7 o'clock slot, so I figured I'm impulsive. Somebody came up with a good idea, and I jump in and do it right away. Old Dirty Fatty says yes. Old Dirty Fatty says yes. Praetor says cool. Oh yes, you're talking about the art from Oscar. Fantastic work. Yeah, I really love the old school coloring, and he made it look like yellowed paper. And we got the drive-by blessing from Zactan. That's awesome. Man Thing could burn based off of fear. Yes, whatever knows fear burns if the Man Things touch. I'll try and pop in for the auction for a bit. Now, also, I keep in mind, I can't guarantee anything. You know, it could be a total waste of time. It could be the most awesome thing in the world. All right, so I'm going to start off with, I just put this here because nobody needs to see my dirty desk, but I just bought that this week. This should have been in a video called Back Issue Bonanzas, when I buy back issues to fill in hole. This was extremely difficult for me to find. The World of Wood. This is Wally Wood. I thought this was autographed, but no, it's not. But it was really tough for me to find. What's that?
It's Girl of the Megafists Volume 4.
Oh, cool.
That's what I've been reading this month. And
So
hopefully I should be getting more comics within the next few weeks, hopefully.
So this completes this 4-issue series, 4 of 4. So now I could read it. All right. So now I'm going to bring up the comics. These are the new comics. So this is everything that I got and have not read yet. Okay. These can't fit on the lip. So I will, I'll take this off because I don't want everything falling off. Okay. So this is Saga 71. I haven't read it since like 55 because I think I'm missing 56. So I got to pick up. I got to inventory and find out what I'm missing because it drives me nuts if I read an issue and then find out that I missed an issue before. Saga, I think, went to issue 50 and then they took like a 6-month hiatus. Best thing they did because they recharged their batteries. It was getting self-indulgent and a little annoying. And it is the weirdest comic out there. It's magic, it's sci-fi, it's a space opera, but it's also a fantasy. There really is no comic like it, but it's kind of self-indulgent and woke. But Brian K. Vaughan, I like Brian K. Vaughan. I used to correspond with him years and years ago when he was writing. What comic was he writing? Petrifax. It was a spin-off of The Sandman, which we're not allowed to talk about because it's Neil Gaiman. But back on the DC forums, me and him used to email each other. So, you know, that goes a long way. That goes a long way. All right. Black Hammer, Spiral City, number 3. I love Black Hammer. You read Black Hammer, Creed of Walshman?
No, that's the first time I've heard of it. I'm still I'm still trying to figure out all the different series in the comic space.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. You know, I'm totally into it, and I can't keep track of everything. Especially added the crowdfunded, and I'm always missing stuff. Yeah, can't help it. Throw in the Heap and make it a battle. Yeah, the Heap. We'll probably talk about the Heap. The Heap is the original swamp creature in all of comics. So Black Hammer. I bought Black Hammer by accident because I really liked a comic called Stray Bullets, but that's David Latham. And when I saw the name Jeff Lemire, I was like, oh, I like that guy. Totally not even the same name. But I'm so glad I bought it. It was like a goof on the Justice League. You know, they were sequestered on a farm, like in another dimension. It's such a weird premise, but it was so freaking good. And I think he didn't expect how popular it was going to be. I think it was like a 6-issue miniseries, and then they expanded it, and then they had spin-offs. All the characters are so good. I think Spiral City is the name of the city that they inhabit. So I haven't read 1, 2, and 3 yet. I gotta read that. Mark Millar, The Magic Order. Again, I'm so glad when Mark was on my channel, he didn't ask me any specific questions because I am years behind on Mark Millar comics. I'm trying to think of what was the last Mark Millar comic. I think the last Mark Millar comic I read was the first Nemesis. And I'm not joking. It's like a stack like this high. So that's, you know, now that I got 4 weeks off, when I finish Eddie is Doomed tonight, I will go and get all my Mark Millar comics. Geiger, I'm really enjoying this, but I missed an issue, so I think I'm like 3 or 4 issues behind, you know, so I got to go. But Junkyard Joe one-shot, oh my God, that was one of the best comics I read in a long, long time. Do you read any of these Ghost Machine comics?
I've heard of them.
Don't be embarrassed. You know, if I ask you that, you could just say no. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody cares, you know.
Well, they're on my to buy list, but
yeah, they're really good. It's really one of the only new mainstream things that I'm excited about. Like I avoid Marvel and DC like the plague. Again, another Mark Millar comic that I haven't read yet, so I got to check this out. I don't know.
Was there a film based on that or something?
There was a Netflix series, and I didn't watch the Netflix series because I wanted to watch I wanted to read the comic first, and then it only lasted one season. That's got to get Mark Millar's goat when when they Netflix has a. Yeah. I think they do that.
I'm probably thinking of another movie or something, because there was somebody, I think the Wachowskis who did the Matrix. They had this, it's like sci-fi movies or back in the 2010s. I was trying to think. Is it Jupiter Rising?
Jupiter Rising. I don't know.
All I remember from it is sort of like the soundtrack for the trailer, and it was just sort of like boom, boom. That's what I remember from
titles. There was Jupiter's. I think one of them was Jupiter's Rising. This is called Jupiter's Legacy because it's supposed to be afterward.
Jupiter's Ascending.
Yeah, so we might be talking about.
I'm going to look this up.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Black Hammer is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. I'm talking about the Hammer. Yeah, somebody, Old Dirty Fatty read it. Yeah, it's a good comic. Progeny. This is Mark Millar month over here at John's Long Box. Another comic I haven't read yet. I gotta. No, the last Millar I read was MPH, and that was.
Oh yeah, it is Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, it's from
directed and co-produced by the Wachowskis.
Oh, okay, that's a different thing. Serpent in the Garden. Edward Gray. This is set in the Hellboy universe. Edward Gray is like a queen's Queen Victoria's like demon hunter, witch hunter. You know, I just love all of these Hellboy comics. The Patchwork Girl of Oz. This is adapted and illustrated by Otis Frampton. There was a whole bunch of Marvel did a bunch of. I think it was Eric Schanauer did them. Maybe I'm wrong, but or Scotty Young maybe. But I really, really liked them, and I'm glad this isn't quite the same guy. But I'm really enjoying the further Oz books. I only read the Wizard of Oz. I never read the. This is Vampiress Carmella. You know, if you see it says Warrant magazine, it tricked me because I thought it was Warren magazines were coming back, but they're good. I mean, they're not as good as the old Warrens, but they're good. So I get these. So that's all of, oh no, it's not all of the new stuff. Here is more new stuff. Here is Local Man number 12. This is by Tim Seeley. It needs to pick up. It needs to pick up, Tim. Scotty Young. Thank you. And Jupiter Legacy was the show. And Eric the Guapo says hello. I really liked Local Man. The first 9-10 issues were really good. And now it's like, stop spinning your wheels and let's get to it already. Every month I say I'm going to quit reading Savage Dragon, and I never do. I think I'm committed to issue 300, and then we'll see what happens. But I'm missing 273, so I can't read these yet. And here we got, Prisoner of the Reds. I can't wait to see what sort of Trump derangement syndrome Eric Larson has. He totally lost it last time Trump got elected, and I'm sure he's gonna do it again. Okay, so those I didn't read yet. Those I did not read yet. These I read. So I'm just putting them in some sort of semblance of an order. Because I hate when I show issue 2 before I show issue 1. All right. So this is Junkyard Joe by Thunderzone, not to be confused with Junkyard Joe by Ghost Machine. This is my friend Dan Sen. Dan Sen and I, grew up together in the same town, went to the same comic book store, and he founded Argo Comics. And then I think Thunderzone is a creator-owned title within Thunderzone. So I don't know how he's going to get Junkyard Joe out there when Ghost Machine has the same exact title. So, I warned him, but there you go. Not bad. I really like his printing. Good art. This drives me nuts, though. I will never have a Kabam ad on the back of my comics. It's cheaper if you put an ad for Kabam on the back or Teespring. Not Teespring, Comics Wellspring, but I can't do that. I want to have my own stuff. So this is Atlas Comics. Do you know what Atlas Comics is, Welshman?
I've heard about them from what do you call it? Comic tropes. Because he did a video on, I think, Tiger Man. So I'm familiar with Atlas Comics at least.
Yeah, Atlas Comics. They call it Atlas Seabird because Atlas Comics, or the original Atlas, was Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics was Timely, and then it was Atlas, and then it was Marvel. And it's been Marvel ever since. So somewhere, I think it was 1973, a bunch of people got together. Oh, you know who it was? It was Martin Goodman sold Marvel, and I think his son started up Atlas, because why not? Atlas was his company. And they only got to like issue 3 of all the comics. And issues 1 were really, really good. Issues 2 were okay. And then issue 3 on every title was completely different, because by that point, the creators and artists realized they weren't getting paid. So they just had like somebody else. So this is the original Scorpion. He's set in the 20s. It's Howard Chaykin writing and drawing it with assist from Bernie Wrightson and Walt Simonson. Ernie Colan does the cover over here. And like, he's just like, he's fighting like monsters and everything like that. And then issue 3 is set in modern day. It's a completely different Scorpion. You might as well be Spider-Man. He has web shooters and sticks to walls and fighting a golem. Why? Because Howard Chaykin and all those guys didn't get any pay, and they just walked, and they needed to fill the issue 3. And then that was it. The company folded. Was Iron Jaw Atlas? Yeah, Iron Jaw was the best. Iron Jaw was the best of all of them. Iron Jaw was really, really good. This is Silverline Comics, Roland Mann and those guys. This is the Champion and the Fury. Is this? Yeah, this got a Kablam. I really like this Kablam. I got to look at Kablam because this looks and feels like a real comic. My comic, like it didn't, like, I had to press them to get them to close properly. But these come like the way a comic book should look. So I gotta check out Kablam. This is a comic book printer, but these are good. These Silverline Comics. And talk about professional. They're never late. When they give you a date, they are boom on time. But the Fury, she's a 40s character. I think she's the first female superpowered character to have her own series or something like that. And then this is Champion, their character. So she's public domain, so anybody could use Fury. Okay, this is all of the swag and a poster that came with the Lucent from Michael Bancroft. This is going to sound mean, but I never know what to do with this stuff. I got a long box.
I've got a big box full of the merch. Hang on.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it.
I mean, I just stick it all in this box here.
I'm just separating.
Not sure what.
I don't want the new comics to get mixed up with the already read comics. So this was a oversized. This is the Lucent Painted Death. This is Michael Bancroft hardcover book. I love these Scorpion guys. So I just love that he's incorporating Sumerian mythology. Here's just a random page that I just opened to. You could see, I'm just showing off some of the art. Good story. He's a really good writer. My only criticism is like stuff like this is my only criticism. Like, this panel is obviously a reference of a real hallway. Too much real estate is wasted over here. I think he should have just drew close up on her running up the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, this is just, I don't know. I'm not articulating it well, but like this drawing right here, that's obviously just a colorized photo. You know what I mean? And when you rely too much on that, you can see. So, and I don't want to say anything bad about Michael Bancroft. He's a great guy. I really like the story. So that's all I'm going to say. Kaijus and Cowboys. This was another, I think it was on Kickstarter. This is Frankie Washington doing the art. My only criticism about this is put the issue number on the cover. Put the issue number on the cover. Too much negative space. That's an elegant. Too much negative space, and the reliance on photo references makes the backgrounds look so perfect that the drawings don't seem to fit in the world, if that makes sense. Like I would rather an imperfectly drawn apartment, that matches the figures and characters. Like I wonder if he's okay. This photograph is good enough, so that's going to define my perspective, and that's going to define the camera angle. You know what I mean? But if you're drawing everything, you could have these crazy different perspectives, and it just seems a little static everywhere you go. Sorry, Mike. This is Kaijus and Cowboys. So this is a real high concept sci-fi comic. I think it's on Kickstarter. Frankie Washington does the art. Frankie's been on my channel. Man, what a ball of energy. He's just a great guy. He likes his Japanese cartoons, back in, he's closer to my age, but I'm older than him. But back when we used to call it Japanimation, nowadays we use the real term anime, but back in the 80s we said Japanimation, and they had like Battle of the Planets. So he loves all that stuff. And what this is Earth. There's a catastrophe on Earth. A Japanese toy maker builds a rocket with AI, and they takes a bunch of humans. They go on a planet. The planet is hostile. It's covered with kaiju. So they send out robots to fight the kaiju. And this robot is the bot with no name. He dresses like a cowboy. So it's kaijus versus cowboys with robots. Just talk about all the nerdy, fun stuff thrown into one premise. Praetor 7, John, I completely agree with you about the realistic backgrounds. I will say that I probably didn't articulate my feelings well enough, but like, I'm not an artist, so you could take my opinion, crumple it up, and throw it in the garbage. But I think when you rely too much on photo references, the photo references define your perspective. They define how your comic, you know what I mean? If how many, maybe now with drones you could get, but you don't have drones in an apartment. Like, you're never going to have like a bird's eye view of the inside of an apartment. Everything is going to be flat angles, if it's photographs, you know what I mean? So
I'm not sure how that would work because,
right.
Because of the low ceilings sometimes.
Right. But you can do that if you
I've got a low ceiling in this room.
But if you're drawing it, you could do that. You could be God's eye in the ceiling and things like that. You could be, Satan's eye all the way from the bottom. And, maybe if you got like a camera and still on furniture, but you're limited by how many apartments you could go into or what you Google and find. So I think relying on photo references and then literally drawing it. Like I was talking to Duck Bacon yesterday, and I kept asking him, are these buildings real buildings? And he was just like, they're memories of real buildings. And I think that was why they look, because he drew them, and I'm sure he changed them or he rotated them in his brain to match the perspective of the characters. You know what I mean? But if I go outside, take a picture of my house, and then Photoshop it into my comic book, that's the perspective that I'm limited to. Unless there's software, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's software that could rotate it and I don't know. Maybe there is stuff.
You can use stuff like SketchUp, or what I'm using is just SketchMe. They're 3D modeling apps that you can pose characters and use like crude environments that you can work around.
I know I don't want to use anybody's names, but I know one of the artists I talked to, he said, yeah, I draw my buildings. I put them into SketchUp, I think he said, and then he rotates them and moves them around. But he drew them first. You know what I mean? So they look like whatever crazy ass buildings and cars and robots he wants to use. All right, this is Gargoyles, the winter special. The dog gargoyle rescues a cat. It's one.
I
It's one of
remember
the
I remember the show.
Yeah, this comic is teetering on the chopping block. The only thing stopping it is I have this rule. I missed an issue, so I have 6 issues that I haven't read yet, and I always give it the benefit of the doubt and keep buying the issues because what if I like it when I finally read it? So when I buy that missing issue, I got to read it all and then decide. It's guys. Trump got elected. Woke ideology is not good in comics anymore. This is the Thunder Guard. This is also Thunder Zone by Argo Comics, my friend Dan Send. This is pretty good. This is like the formation of an international super team. All new characters. This I'm a sucker for this. So SRG, I don't know what it stands for, but he carries this box that may or may not have something horrible in it. And I want to know what's in the box. Just have a box. He's like, no, I'm not opening. I'm like, okay, I got to get the second issue. So he's got me for at least the second issue, but he's Dan. I'll probably get all of these. But I love the designs. Like this woman's costume is excellent. So like I said, plus the fact that we were childhood friends, you know what I mean? You really got to do something egregiously bad for me to not get your comics. Battle Beyond the Stars, more Silverline. This company, like the only company I could compare it to is like Alterna. They make good, cheap, reliable, on-time comics. Silverline. I think it's all creator owned. So this is Beyond Real by Vault Comics. They just threw this. If anybody bought comics from Discount Comic Book Service, this comic was thrown into your box. Matter of fact, I got 2 copies. So Vault was like artificially pumping up their numbers. And somebody like 2 months ago asked me if I read it. I just was like, I'm not reading this. I didn't order it. I got other stuff to read. And it's been on the bottom of the pile. But I finally read it. And you know what? I liked it enough that it's a 5-issue miniseries. I ordered the other 4 issues to see what's going on. Maybe
Do you know I can order this? Because that cover is really, really interesting.
Right. This Vault, I don't even know if Vault is still publishing, but Vault came in like a wrecking ball and put out like they were like I forget. I think it was your boy Zach was saying like these comics are selling 200,000 copies a month, but nobody was buying them. They were just giving them away, and counting those as sales. And I don't think it. I think there was just like, hey, the first hit's free. They gave away a lot of comics. I'm probably the only crazy person that's going to follow up and continue reading. Here's a fun comic. Justice League of America number 15. I'm collecting the Justice League. I started with issue number 1. Of course, I don't have the Brave and Bold issue, the first appearance. That's just out of my affordability rate. But it's so charming. Like this is the kind of stuff I hated like up until like 5 years ago. Like I hate Silver Age DC, because this is just Gardner Fox is just like, draw this on the cover.
And then what did you say that last comic was one? The Vault Comics one?
Beyond Real. But this was just like back then. This was editorial decree. One guy described the cover, and then the rest of the team had to scramble to make a story. If I wasn't like negatively impacted by the horribleness of real life, I probably wouldn't like these comics so much. But they're innocent, they're charming. You got all of these superheroes. Not one punch is thrown. This guy's superpower is he shoots arrows and he never hits anything. He shoots a net, that goes over, things like that. I'm liking it. It's charming. This I did for what's that?
I can't find it on their website.
Vault Comics Beyond Real.
It's not on there. I've looked up in the search bar and it says no results found.
Did you say that guy has a box that might have something horrible in it? Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like I think it might be like a powerful intelligence or something inside the box.
Could be Pandora's box.
Probably. I don't know. he didn't get enough camera time, but he did enough to pique my interest. This is from perhaps the greatest run of Avengers. If I cannot recommend enough that anybody who likes comics get Avengers 150 to just over 200. It's the best 50 issues of Avengers you'll ever get. It is so good. So much happens. I did this last Sunday on Sunday Comics. This is Marvel Comics and the Electric Company present Spidey Super Stories. These are awful. I collect them because I collected them as a kid and they all disappeared. And for some reason, these all just got super expensive. I mean, you literally couldn't give these away. Like even 5 years ago, these were like, I'm not even joking, quarter a piece. And now they're like, I've seen them go for like $40, $50 a piece. What is going on that people all of a sudden want Spidey Super Stories? But it's John Romita. What's his name? Bob Oxner. It's just charming. It's for little kids. This is the kind of thing that you would give your child when they're having difficulty sounding out words. That's the purpose of this. So it's not made for a 56-year-old man. Man child. I think I might check out the one with the box guy. I think he said it was Thunder Guard. Yes, I'll show you. Did I put it away already? Yes. Thunder Guard. If you go to Argo Comics or Thunder Zone, you could check it out. Dan Sen usually pops in here. He might show up, but check out Argo Comics, ARGO, their site. And if not, just let me know. I'll contact Dan and tell him you're interested, and he'll I'll convey some way that you could pick it up. It just came out, so it's not expensive. This was awful. What were you just showing, Welchman? What were you just showing?
All right. It's a omnibus collection of some of the original Spider-Man comics from the 60s.
Oh, cool. Nice. Those are so like what run is that? Like 1 to 10 or something? Or
there's some missing issues in it, but it collects Amazing Fantasy 15 issues 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 13, 14.
That's weird that it jumps around.
17, 18, 19. Yeah.
That is really weird that it jumps around like that.
It doesn't have your favorite one, Spider-Man Goes Mad. I wish that was in here.
Yeah, that's
got my favorite.
That's 24. This is not my favorite. This is Brigade. This is just awful. She looks passable, but this is just awful. This is just awful. I know all the Don Draw guys, the studio guys, they love all the 90s Image comics. This is awful. The story was bad, but I had to, because I have all the other issues, so I had to complete the collection, and I have to read everything that I buy. Okay, this is by the Wachowski brothers, who may or may not be brothers anymore, and Chris Sprouse. The art is so good. So it's Doc Frankenstein. I'm a sucker for Frankenstein, Dracula, werewolves. I love all those universes, but and he's going after one guy who's a werewolf, and the werewolf can't be killed. They can't be killed, and it goes from cowboy times to modern times. The only thing is, it's just like evangelical atheism, the comic book. And you know what? You want to be an atheist? That's fine. That's fine. You left religion, but you took the worst part of religion with you, the zealotry and the desire to convert other people that you know better. I have no sympathy for an evangelical atheist. You know what I mean? Look at all you crusaders and you people, you killed people and stuff like that. But you're just a zealot too. You're a zealot too. Thank God you don't have swords, and Swords of Sorcery. This is the last issue of Pfaff and Grey Mouser. This was the best issue in the 5, best drawn, best written, and unfortunately the last. So, I read all the Pfaff and Grey Mousers. They don't put an A in it, so DC put this A in it, so it's Pfafford, but I think it's just fact, Fafford. I don't know, but it's difficult to pronounce because they're missing a vowel. Look at this weird yellow cover. It works. I don't know. I just get a kick out of all this old stuff. Okay, this is AC Comics. This is the 5th and last issue of She-Cat, clawing her way to the top. Now, artists, are her legs too long? Do her legs look too long to anybody? They just kind of it's too long.
No, I think it's because she's hunched forward a little bit.
Yeah,
to explain the perspective of.
It works though.
Yeah, her legs look normal to me.
I used to say that AC Comics was my guilty pleasure because it's just hot superhero chicks fighting hot super villain chicks. But why feel guilty about stuff you like? Own it, So I like these. I'm slowly collecting a Fem Force. I think I'm up to issue 40 or 38 or something like that. Here's another Silver Line. This is the Obsoletes. This is written by Wes Locker of Unit 44 from Alterna Comics. Well drawn. This is the first issue of a superhero team that got lost in time. So by the time they debut, they were like in a light speed with they're in their own future and whatever because of a relativity. So it's a pretty good premise. Pretty good premise. Gee, that was difficult for me to say. This is Divinity. This is annoying because I had a character called Divinity that was going to debut in Heroic Tales, who was a little girl with divine powers. So I don't know what to do, but it was pretty good. The only thing is I hate when people draw like accents and stuff, like not accents, but like eubonics. I hate that. I just hate that. This is issue 2 of Champion and Fury. And it's kind of confusing because Champion's not on the cover, Demon's on the cover. This is Roland Mann's character. He was like a supporting character in Cat and Mouse. Okay. I might as well show these even though I haven't read them yet. But these just showed up today. Let me get rid of this. These are the King Cryptids. So I'll put them in proper order. Okay. As you can see, I got 2 of each. I got signed and unsigned. So I'm not reading the signed ones. I'm just putting them away. But I love that cover. So this should have been part of the new comics. So I just love that cover. King Cryptid's a good comic. Every issue self-contained. This is Frankie Washington. You can see he loves his kaijus. A lot of colors, a lot of stuff going on Frankie Washington.
Is that a foil cover, that one?
I'm sorry?
The one you just put away, is that a foil cover?
No, none of these are foil cover. If I have a choice, I don't buy foil covers. Hunter's Moon. He fights a werewolf. I like this black and white. Oh, yeah. He puts other covers on the back, so that's a negative. King Cryptid. He has these kids that go out looking for monsters, and I like it. Like he has like a cartoony art style. And one of the things that Pete does is pretty clever. Is each issue has a different art team, so he could have 4 comics being worked on at once. You know what I mean? And then put out 5 at one time. I have one artist. I could work with other artists and do 5 different Heroic Tales, but I don't want that. I want to work with Renzo. So unless we clone Renzo, I won't be able to do this. The problem with punk wedges. That's pretty cool. I didn't really get a look at it, but you see this is autographed. So there you go. I got Heroinberg, number 4. Heroinberg, the man, has been in the chat, been on my channel a few times. What he does is he makes like television shows that are, I guess, pay to watch rather. I think you either go through a paywall or he sends you the files. I forget what he does. And it's just sexy chicks in costumes fighting other sexy chicks in costumes. That's, The fact that I liked FemForce is what put me on his radar. And then like once a year they make a comic, about it. She looks a lot like Jaquita Wagner from Planetary over here. So I already read that. Ed, when he sent me that, he sent me Don Simpson's autograph on Savage Dragon versus Megaton Man. I've been joking that probably the only still living Don Simpson fan. I get every Megaton Man comic, and the guy won't come on my channel because I won't submit an itinerary of what we're going to talk about. I'm like, sorry, it's just a conversation. When you have a conversation with somebody at dinner, do you submit an itinerary? This is Red Circle Comics, which is Archie Comics. Somebody posted this on Twitter, and I was like, I got to get this comic. I love this. Is Gray Morrow, one of my favorite artists, and just what a great comic. What a great comic. And it was kind of cool because I'm a big Bruce Jones fan. Bruce Jones writes horror comics. I first discovered him with Twisted Tales from Pacific Comics, and I didn't know it. He draws a story inside. So we got to see he actually draws this story. So he draws the sexy chick story. This is weird because it's issue 96, but issue 91 is the first issue because it was something else, and then they just changed the title. Back then, it cost money to re-register a comic, so they would just continue the numbering. They did the opposite of what they do today. Today they just start the number over, but back then they just continued the numbers on new comics. So,
that's how I would do things, just to show that there's like a huge continuity to it.
But there isn't a continuity. Issue 91 was a different comic. It was a humor comic. And then 92 is Madhouse, So this is On Call Heroes #1 by Tonic Comics. So this is Tonic Mole, who I'm working with on Eddie is Doomed, and Sebesta and Illustrator Monk. So this is his characters from Saving the World. They're a bunch of slackers. They work at a burger place, minimum wage. So they try to capitalize on their superpowers, and they're setting up on-call heroes. So they're putting flyers up, and keep in mind it's set in like 1992 or something like that. So it's pre-internet. So they're just going around putting up flyers, and people are calling them. But how often do you actually need a superhero? So like they're entertaining kids' birthday parties and stuff. So now this issue, they decide to go out in a lake and see if this cryptid sea monster is actually real. And of course it is. And hijinks ensue. Here is his regular comic. This is Tonic Mole's regular art. I just find this art to be so chubby, charming. It's so chubby. I just love it. I can't wait to see what he does with my script. I'm so excited. But this is number 11. Go ahead. I have a habit of keep talking.
No, that's okay. It just sort of reminds me of I'm going to say it's like a modern slice of life comic. That's what the art style reminds me of.
Well, what he's trying to do is capture that 80s black and white indie comic thing. So like, if you ask me, it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Love and Rockets with like hate from Badge, and there's another one that I'm missing, but it's all thrown into, and it really, really, really works. But at the same time, there's a sinister plot of brewing, and I've talked to Tonic Mole. Like, we stayed up to like 4 o'clock in the morning talking about it one night, and I keep saying, "Is this right? Don't tell me. Is this right?" And he said, "You're about 75% right." So, yeah, I'm obsessed with this comic, and I will say that Tonic Mole has the best ear for dialogue. Like, this is how teenagers talk. At least teenagers that, like, maybe not in 2024, but 1995 teenagers talk like this. Every character I've fallen in love with. There's only one character that I don't like, but I love Kiara, and then I meet Nora. Oh, I love Muir, and then Lily and Wap Wap Wet. I freaking love those characters. Here is Illustrator Monk's variant cover. You know, he's unapologetically, Monk and Mole are unapologetically into big old boobies and everything like that. So, it's tasteful. It's not porn, you know what I mean? But it's not something you're gonna read with your 4-year-old kid either. But here is a
Well,
tonic
yeah,
ball.
there's too much plot for them.
Yeah, but this is Tonic Ball's art. Just look how great that art is. It's so charming. Yeah. What flavor of Divinity were you thinking about? Oh, for my comic? Oh, sexy chicks in costumes. I'm in. Sign my petition. You keep saying that, but where's this petition? You got to send me a link to this petition. Where is the petition? I'll sign it. What flavor? That Madhouse gal is beautiful. Yeah. There's a human in front of the girl. It shows you how often. Oh, duh. Okay, I got you. You tricked me. John's idea of chubby. What's the artist name for this? Preto, Tonic Ball. And Tonic Ball is working with me on Eddie is Doomed. Tonic Ball has his own comic. This is Tonic Ball's art. This is Tonic Ball doing Saving the World. This is his he says Tonic Ball right up here. This is his flagship comic. And it's the premise is Kiara wakes up in the middle of the street naked. She works at like a Burger King kind of place, and it's like 4:00 in the morning. She just wakes up naked. She sneaks home, and then the next day she finds out she's got super strength. And then she's a comic book nerd. She makes herself a makeshift costume, and she goes out to fight crime. But it's funny. She hangs out behind the dumpster waiting for crime, and she ends up falling asleep. How often did crime happen? You know what I mean? So she doesn't know what to do. And then she meets Nora. Same thing. Nora just wakes up in the middle of the night, one night, naked in the street. And Nora's super intelligent, like Reed Richards intelligent. You know what I mean? So now they're working together. Then they find a guy who same thing happened, but he's awful. He's a villain. So now they're actually fighting villain. And now they're meeting other people, same situations. So something happened. And most of the comics are kind of silly, slice of life. But there's one character who could jump back and forth in time. Something is coming that makes me nervous. And like I said, me and Tonic Mole stayed up till like 4 a.m. one night talking about his comic, and he's dying to tell me, but I don't want to know at the same time. I'm a fan first and foremost. And then this is his spin-off comic, On Call Heroes. So this is Nora, the super intelligent one, and this is Kiara, the super powerful. So not only is she super strong, but she could get really big. So she could get like kaiju size, and she also regenerates. They're almost getting too powerful. You know what I mean? And you can see there's Loch Ness monsters, there's Bigfoots in the background. This is Illustrator Monk. I know the names are driving me crazy, but that's what they go by. So this is On Call Heroes, a variant cover by Illustrator Monk. I love I just noticed Mudhoney. I love Illustrator Monk. I love them all, but Illustrator Monk did the original covers, and I saw an ad in Alterna Comics for Saving the World #1 with the cover by Illustrator Monk. I bought it, and then I was disappointed to see Tonic Ball's art. Now it's the other way around. I don't want to see anybody. I want the comic, the cover, everything drawn by Tonic Ball. His art just won me over. I'm really charmed by his comic. I cannot sing the praises enough. I mean, the fact that I'm working with the guy should tell you how much I love his stuff. So this is Heather Vele, Next Evolution #1. She had some production problems. She's been talking to me, and I'm like, dude, I only made one comic, but I'll gladly help. She offered a big poster, and then when she got the posters, you can't fold them up. Nobody wants a folded up poster, so she had to roll. It caused logistic nightmares, just like me with my pine class. But we would talk about that. Great girl, good writing. I really like this. The premise of this is an amazing premise. It's set in 2025, and what happens is a pharmaceutical company gave pregnant women, like a drug that was supposed to be like a morning sickness type drug or something like that. So a whole bunch of babies born in the 90s are called ragers. They're super strong. They lose their shit. They want to fight, so that they're like super strong berserkers. You know, what a great premise. You know, and I think topical, you know what I mean? And of course, she's referencing in the 70s, if you remember, I'm going to say this wrong, the formaldehyde babies, you know, the flipper babies. So it's such a good topical premise. I really do want to see what's going on for the next issue. So Heather Vele, you know, you could check her out. It's really worth checking out. I mean, it's a couple of bucks. Attention, getting premise, but also potential for growth. Yes. Power creep is real. More on that later. Small stakes counterintuitively could have more reason. Absolutely. That's what I did with my issue of the first issue of Heroic Tales. Now, and I'm sorry that I keep talking, Welshman. If you want to jump in, just put your hand up or something like that if you haven't it. You know what I mean? Because I'll just talk. But
that's okay. I'm trying to finish writing the script.
I'm sorry?
I'm trying to finish writing the script here.
But I just think that if I was going to start off issue 1 with Heroic Tales with a big major story, and then I'm like, but who cares? You know what I mean? And everybody does that. So I'm like, I'm going to start with a small story. You know, he's trying to get home because it's Father's Day and he's just getting distracted. Did it work? That's up to you guys. I think it worked.
Well, for one of the comics I got planned, I do have a bit of backstory, but it's really just to illustrate how that part of the world got to that state in the first place.
Right. I have a whole bunch, like, why Science City? What's going on in Science City? Why I have, like, it goes from prehistory, from, you know, to 400 million years ago. Why Science City? But I can't just throw that all at you. Who cares? Like, I play a lot of Dungeons Dragons and Villains Vigilantes, and I have a big campaign going, and every once in a while we get a new player. And what do? Just info dump them with all the lore of the world? You can't do that.
Well, the way I want to handle this one, it would be like this. It's sort of like a shot of the Earth, and it's sort of like the world was once full of heroes. And then it sort of goes into a bit of detail about how, at a certain point, villains were using like social justice to undermine the heroes and make them weak. And
so it's set in the real world.
I'm
joking.
A take on the real world, but after a while, it's like the country they're in sort of descends into chaos and the villains take over.
The problem is,
and the last bastion of hope sort of gets killed.
Like you don't want to do. You don't want to do like God.
Well, no.
John Malin would just tell everybody everything.
This whole intro would probably only take about no more than, say, 6 pages. If I know how to well,
that's a big ask for like 6-page info dump. You know what I mean? Like, are their characters interacting? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. My gut
might be like 1 or 2 pages of like a backstory, a epic battle that sort of ends and sort of solidifies why the country's fallen, and then.
Do you remember the scroll in Star Wars? That was just about as much as people could take of info dump. You know,
I might have to pick up Godlike just to see sort of like how bad the info dump is. Is it the whole issue?
Yeah. Peter Parker.
I won't make it the whole issue, but I would want to keep it straight to the point.
6 pages. You know,
I wouldn't want it to be any more than 6 pages, but if I'm going
Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, would spend 2 issues of Spidey trying to catch a bank robber while having an argument with Mary Jane. Very small. Yes, absolutely. So Heroic Tales, maybe you don't catch it the first issue, but it's going to build up. My goal is by 10th issue, the Thanos type event happens, you know, and by that point, it'll be a couple of years from now. People have some comics under the belt. They'll actually care, but you know what I mean? Small stakes. I think small stakes is the way to go. Absolutely. Well, John, you learned that we want to care about the characters first, but we see, yes. And I got to say, Brian Bow just like saved me from wasting all my money. Just I was gonna make Info Dump the comic, because everybody's gonna love what I'm doing. I think it worked. Any small emergencies that have gone wrong in the world could continue. The cumulative effect could have been disastrous. Yes, thank you. Greetings from the homeless shelter. That's a nice book, John. This is the soft cover of Painted Death. I really like this cover. This works. I really like that. My comics almost fell off my table. I don't want that to happen. Okay, so this is DC 1 Million, 80-page giant, written by Grant Morrison. This was terrible. This was just terrible. It's like, talk about not caring. It's set 80,000 centuries. The premise is that it's the 1 millionth issue of a monthly comic. So a million months is 880,000 years in the future. And who cares? It's just like an excuse for everybody to go nuts and just pull out the wackiest crap out of their ass. Like, it's,
Are they still dealing with the Joker in that one?
What's that?
Are they still dealing with the Joker?
I blanked out. Yeah. 80,000 years from the future, and it just happens to be the same exact superheroes that form the Justice League. Yeah.
And the Joker still hasn't been killed yet.
Well, Joker's dead. Every superhero is
really
dead except for Superman, but but the legacy continues. Greetings. Oh, I already saw this. Master Hobo, Crisis on Multiple Heroic Earths. I will tell you this right now. There are other dimensions, but it's not other Earths. There's other dimensions where I'm talking about in my comic book. There's other dimensions that are closer to Earth than not, but there's no, like I keep saying, I'm inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a realm of ultimate chaos. There's a realm of ultimate law, and where they overlapped creates the universe that some universes are slightly closer to chaos, so their physical laws are different. They're more prone to magic. Some of them are more closer to logic, so magic doesn't work. Science is more absolute, so there's less randomness. So if you get too far close to order, molecules can't break down. You can't convert food into nutrients and oxygen, so life can't exist, blah, blah, blah. If you go too far towards chaos, things just happen randomly and life can't exist, or at least as we know it, so that we are in this Goldilocks spot. And even that, there's different locations so there can't be another patriarch is what I'm saying, because the law of physics is different. Yes, here's the link. Anybody could join in. If anybody wants to pop in, please do. And I'll talk over you like I do this poor Welshman. I'm sorry. Grant Morrison's writing is very hit or miss. Absolutely. I think Grant Morrison works best with a strong editor to rein him in. This is Rima the Jungle Girl. I did this for Sunday Comics 2 weeks ago, so that shows you how long it's been since I did a What You're Reading. See, now I can put these comics away once I show them. This is DC 1 Million number 4. The one thing I did like about it was there was a bad guy called Solaris who was an evil star. So it was just this sentient star that was coming. That was kind of cool. The villain of Stellaris, but it's so detached from everything else. Like, again, this could have just been like my first issue. Just look how creative I am, and then there's no frame of reference. There's no comparisons. Like, the only thing that tied it together was the name Superman, Batman, and whatever. And that's another thing. There's 9 superheroes, and they each have a planet. So the Batman in the future rules Pluto. Superman rules the sun. Oh, my wife just handed me a plate of food. Aquaman rules Neptune. And the Atom rules Neptune. It's just like it's like kind of concept that you would come up with in grade school. Oh, here's Stellaris. I just love this bad guy. I love this And forgive me if I'm talking too much, Creative Welshman. If you want to get a word in edgewise, just put your finger up. But
That's okay.
I just love these, like, and I just saw a stream yesterday where people were talking about how they're tired of the word Lovecraftian. But I love these Lovecraftian monsters. You know, these non-human, bigger space gods. I love them. And yes, I do have a take on them in Heroic Tales. And I realized in my role-playing game, they're too much like Lovecraft, so I have to change them before they're in the comics. So yes, this is the link if anybody wants to pop in and with Welshman and I. There's a Joker virus on Pluto. Yes, the virus that laughs, I think they call it. But what are the odds? 80,000 years ago, some petty bank robber from Gotham City is still alive and, you know, take it over. I just find it to be I don't know, too much of a stretch. I might as well show all of these. So these are all the DC 1 millions. You know, here's the Atom shrinking down here. He's going into Stellaris himself, you know, which is pretty cool. Anyone can join the show. Yes. This is open invite means open invite. You know, Mark Millar, come on in. Chuck Dixon, come on in. I remember Solaris from reading All-Star Superman. Okay, so he wasn't created for this. Oh, well, Grant Morrison wrote both of them, didn't he? Put a finger up, but not that finger. Yes. So this is the Justice Legion. This is the Justice League from that. So, you know, what are the odds? There's a Batman, there's a Starman, there's an Aquaman, there's a Wonder Woman, you know, there's a Flash. I just find it to be, I don't know, like, I tell you this. If I'm dumb enough to write that the Patriarch dies real soon, he's dead. And nobody else is taking his costume and being the you know what I mean? It's just like, that would just be like disrespectful.
Well, I did toy with the idea for Captain Liberty. Because at some point,
that was you that we were talking about Captain Liberty. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
A few people have been backstory. You sent me some messages on a character, and I had fun doing that. So, but anyway, I just filling in everybody in.
Yeah, but I did have his death planned some point in the timeline, and I've been thinking, would somebody take up the mantle of Captain Liberty?
Well, that's perfect.
Against it?
You see, you built that into the character, whether you realized it or not, because that guy literally carries a torch, and you could figuratively, literally have the torch passed to somebody else. So that's brilliant. You know what I mean? That is worked right into the premise of the character. So he has like a torch symbol, or you know what I mean? You know, like I said, if your name is Phoenix and you die, you're allowed to come back to life because you're Phoenix. That's what Phoenix does. You know, like if you make up a character named Hydra and you can't regenerate and grow back limbs, then your name shouldn't be Hydra. You know, it's like, I don't know. If you're the Flash, you should be either fast. I'll accept lightning. You know, if there never was a DC character called the Flash and it was an unused name, but like, you know, your character.
Well, I'm going with inertia for my speedster, so
there you go. Now, but again, you got the name Inertia. I'm picturing a female because it ends in an A, and she runs fast. But here's her weakness: she has trouble stopping. So the faster she runs, the more time she needs to slow down. You know what I mean? Because that's inertia. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. So I could picture she's running, and the strong guy would literally have to pick her by the wrists and turn her and aim her at other people. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one aspect of her power.
Yeah, I know. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just spitballing with cool ideas.
I mean, there's like two other aspects that she can sort of store force and send it out at people, but she can also manipulate weight. So she can literally make herself as light as possible, or about 5 times the theoretical maximum weight of what a human body should be able to handle.
Oh, cool. That's a good use of that name. Master Hobo, will there be a speedster character in Heroic Tales? Yes. Issue number 2 shows like an Ozymandias screen. One of the guys is observing all the superheroes. So I have like just faces of all of them, and I'm probably going to put their names in the letters page, like, you know, but I'm making cards for all of them. So you'll see them. But her name is Go Getter, and she's a speedster. And so, yes, there is a speedster and she's a member of the Meta League. The Meta League is like the Avengers in Heroic Tales. Patriarch is not on anybody's team. He's a solo hero. So this is Starcross, the different views. One. So this is Nicholas Greer, Kid Fury. Again, he made these comics are really. Oh, I put the wrong number one. These comics are really well made. You know, as I'm talking like the printing and everything. I got to look at who he used. This is Relentless Tin Soldier. He's like a Colossus cop kind of thing. 3 issues. My only criticism with this, and I think I hurt Nicholas's feelings. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. Is Tin Soldier feels like a guest star in his own comic. You know, Tin Soldier, he should be doing all the cool stuff. You know, in the comic. You know. So like it just seemed like he was a supporting character in his own comic, but otherwise it's really, really good. Really, really good. I liked it. This was a big surprise for me. I mean, I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't realize how much I was going to like it. 6-Gun Gorilla. Awesome. This is Brian Costeau. He mailed me this. I backed the floppy comics and he mailed me this. And I did like a jerky thing. I'm like, yeah, but I ordered the floppy comics. What? He's like, John, I just sent you that for free. I was like, so I literally looked at gift horse in the mouth over here. So I apologize to Brian, but this was so good. You know, I'm eagerly awaiting the next installment of 6-Gun Gorilla. And then here is The Waking Dream by Michael Bancroft. This is Lucent. I forget which. I think this is first. And the other one is. And of course, I read them out of order because I'm a jerk. But it was easy to figure out. I really liked it. Like again, my only criticism is, you know, the heavy use of photo references. But other than that, he could draw, he could write a real interesting story. I want to know what's going on. You know,
I want to know what the Sable Stone is.
Yeah, it raises a lot of questions, you know.
Yeah, and I asked him about it, and he says, "You've already seen it." So we've already seen whatever this Sable Stone is supposed to be.
And I reckon Telepathic Funny was telling me that there's like, it may be real, it may not be real. I'm like, oh, don't get me in that. Now I got to read it again and pick it all apart. Let me just enjoy it.
Yeah, I reckon the ring that she has. That may be the Sable Stone.
Good call.
Because the Red Birth is what Le Machel sort of climbs out of in the second book, which is what Pishman is guarding from Gilgamesh. So that's the Red Birth, and the Painted Death is sort of like an eternal sleep without end.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that I want to know, which is a sign of a good comic. I once created a character mascot for Liberty Comics called. Oh, really? Did you draw that? Liberty Comics, wasn't that for the Comic Book Defense League? Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, she looks like the Statue of Liberty, but black. Super speed is your favorite power. I got to admit, I have one. She's going to, like, in issue 10. It's going to be all the heroes get together. You know what I mean? That's going to be the assembling of the Avengers. And poor Go Getter. She's not going to have a good time.
I would prefer to have the ability to fly, actually, because with super speed, you run the risk of wearing your clothes out all the time if you're running at full pelt.
Yeah, I'm just taking this off. That's all the comics I had to show off, so I'm just moving that out of the way.
But with, say, the ability to fly, all you really need to do is learn how to navigate in the air, and you can fly as fast as you want. obviously you probably need something like goggles to
Yeah.
to deal with the wind in your eyes all the time.
Matter of fact, I will show Go Getter. So keep talking. You could talk all you want while I'm looking for Go Getter.
Okay. What should I talk about?
So tell us about the Sentinel of Liberty.
Oh, Captain Liberty.
Captain Liberty, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
now that you can start talking, I'll go ahead. I was busting you.
He's a captain from the Navy, but an incident in 1921 sort of leaves him with superhuman powers. So he's got the I call it exceptional strength. There's 3 levels of strength in my universe so far: human, apex, and exceptional. Apex would be sort of like Captain America, where he's operating at like peak physical capabilities in all areas. So they can run the fastest, jump the highest, furthest, the longest, lift the best. It's like at the theoretical maximum of what a human should be able to do. Captain Liberty has exceptional strength. So his strength goes beyond the norm of what a blessed should be able to do. If he wanted to, he could crack the planet in half with a single punch. That's how strong he is. So he has to learn to hold back all the time, which is why I refer to him as like my take on Superman. He's a stickler for the rules, but he also believes in the American way, truth, justice, and all.
So I'm just gonna show this. So this is a page from Heroic Tales #2. It's not lettered yet, obviously, but in the second panel, well, the top panel, you can see all the destruction, everything's going on, and then the second panel, you can see Mary Sue and all the people that they're studying superheroes. They want to understand the nature of superheroes, and then they just go through, and you can see the 9 little boxes of superheroes, and each one of them has their eyes glowing with a golden glow, and that is whenever the superhero. If you notice, the Patriarch's eyes glow in issue #1 when he was trying to smash the meteor. That's them summoning more and more power from the source of all superpowers. I don't want to get into the whole everything like that yet, but and somebody noticed that the Raven is not there. Well, the Raven doesn't have superpower, so he doesn't draw this extra dimensional power. But the Go-Getter there, that's her in the front with the red and yellow and the stripe. You notice she's got a helmet on. She's gonna have shoulder pads and knee pads, and big boots because she's a runner, and she's goggles on and everything like that. She's withdrawn power to go like at ultimate speeds, but that's not something that they can normally do. All superheroes in my world can, at the risk of their sanity, withdraw more power to exceed their normal limits. But there's a risk of going crazy when you do that. In my world, all super beings eventually go mad. It's called the metapsychotic. They go metapsychotic, and more on that later. And the reason why the Patriarch has not gone metapsychotic is he has such a happy home life. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like the more disturbed you are, the more metapsychotic you go. So these are all super beings. Not all of them. This is a handful that were. And then that last panel is the scientist who had the eureka moment, and he's explaining there's the electromagnetic spectrum and there's the counter spectrum. And where the 2 spectrums meet, this golden energy is released. So to figure, there's this, when people just like, oh man, I was thinking about you, and you think about, we're connected by energy. Well, this is all the energy that all the hippies talk about. This is all the energy that we can't define. This is the energy that proves astrology right, kind of stuff. You know what I mean? This is, unmeasurable. So the counter spectrum, it starts with infra white and it ends in ultra black, and it's got, you know, all of the cool comic book stuff, and that's where they intersect. It causes this golden glow, and it radiates with the frequency of superpowers. So where the two axes meet kind of defines what kind of powers that you'd have. Keep in mind, in my world, red is more chaos, indigo, purple is more order. So there's a whole D&D alignment axis interwoven into my. I'm giving you more than I wanted to, but this second guy is called Peacekeeper. Oh, let's play a game, Western Creative Welshman. You're going to tell me the powers based on that little box and their name, okay? So that's Peacekeeper. What's his powers?
I'm going to say it's got something to do with fire.
No, that's misleading because there's fire in the background because there's a problem. But no. So if your name was Peacekeeper, that's a little misleading because it's one of those names that doesn't have to fit the power. But
the only other two things I can think of is he might have some form of super strength or durability, or it might be to do with the Peacekeeper gun.
No, he's Superman, so he's flight strong, you know, but he calls himself the Peacekeeper because he aligned himself with the UN. So he wears, if you pull back, he's got that UN symbol on his chest, and he wears the sky blue of the UN. So he's the Peacekeeper. So he's not necessarily American. He's a globalist, you know. Then there's Colonel Strong is the third one with the mask and the gun.
So he basically represents America.
Right. Yeah. He's Captain America and Nick Fury put together. Then there's the Shield Maiden. She's the fourth one in the top row.
Can't really make that out.
Yeah, I can't make this bigger. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm going to hazard a guess and say something to do with Vikings and Valkyries.
Oh yeah, that's obvious. Shield Maiden, yeah. She's and it's funny because she's got the spear and magic helmet, like goofing on the Bugs Bunny cartoon. She's a little bit out of her mind. She grew up in America. She's an archaeologist. You know, there's photographs of her, but she says that that's not her. She grew up in Asgard. So she's starting to lose. And she's an important character for such a small appearance. This is Magnum. What do you think Magnum? What are Magnum's powers?
He's punching the ground. It looks like it's cracking a bit, so I'm going to say super strength.
Right. He's 7 feet tall, so he's gigantic. He's super strong, and he's got magnetic abilities. So he's Colonel Strong is the leader of the Metaforce. Magnum is the he's like the Wolverine Hawkeye. He's the guy who just wants to fight. He wants to end everything. If it was up to him, he would kill every supervillain. So Colonel Strong keeps him reined in. He would be bad if he wasn't on a team. Let's put it that way. And if he didn't respect Colonel Strong, he could turn villainous. And this next guy is the Visionary.
So he's got an eye power.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking he's either another speedster or he can shoot laser eyes. Because that's the only thing I'm getting from his design.
Yeah, he's the Visionary. He's got every eyesight related power you could think of. Super. He's got microscopic vision, macroscopic vision, infravision. He's got ultra vision. He's got laser vision. He's got X-ray vision. You know what I mean? So, and his problem is he's super autistic. So he kind of like just picture Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, not as goofy with powers, and he also has like a spectral vision, so he can see ghosts and things like that. So he's kind of like, guys, you don't see this? You know, there's a big story about him, probably issue 5. Then next to him is... I'm sorry?
Right, so this next guy, who looks a bit like Victor Von Doom, I'm guessing he's some sort of specter type
Very
of
good.
character.
He's the fog of war. What do you think his power is? I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to say it's. First off,
I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's some kind of ghost-like ability.
Absolutely. He could throw out his cloak, and everybody gets confused. So the fog of war, friendly fire, and all. So everybody's confused. It gets dark, and then like if you throw punches in him, he could redirect that kinetic energy. So you can't see. You're blind. You throw a punch, and you're hitting the wrong people, even though you're not next to him. He just makes it so that everything's a casualty. Like if you shoot a machine gun at him, next thing you know, the bullets are coming out where he directs them. So they say the fog of war is the ultimate chaos in a battle. That's what he is. He's just like agent of chaos. He's pretty tough. There's, a way to defeat him, obviously. But next is Powerhouse. This one's pretty easy, I think.
Yeah. So basically, super strength, and I'm going to say flight because he's got a cloak.
Yeah. He's like the ultimate good guy.
All right.
He could shoot power blasts from his fists. He could do it, and then he could time his power blast to have like an explosive punch. But he's super strong, invulnerable, flight. And he's just like morally good. He's just like one of the more good guys. Below him at the beginning, that's the Spartan. This one's difficult.
He's a really, really good soldier and has great melee capabilities.
Right. And he's like the Green Lantern, but he could create bronze energy, but he's limited to anything that the ancient Greeks would have had. So he could make simple machines, spears, armor, shields. He couldn't make a gun or a spaceship or anything like that. So he could make, Bronze Age technology with, and he could regenerate. And he has this, he in the midst of battle, he could summon the Ephors. The Spartans would go to the priests. They were the Ephors, and the Ephors would decipher the movements of the oracle and impart wisdom. So he just like he could close his eyes. And I keep thinking of the old Shazam TV show where Billy Batson would talk to the elders, and he sees these ghost-like priests that bestow upon him. So he's losing it. He's this close to losing it. You know what I mean? He's imagining priests and mythological in the middle of fights and stuff. And he starts talking to voices that he hears, but they always give him the correct information. So you never know. Next is Luna.
She's your archer. So I'm going to assume she's got some like enhanced eyesight so she can snipe from afar.
She's the archer, and she has gravity powers. She, all aspects of the moon. So she can, make people heavy, light. She can float, and then she can snipe with her arrow. Renzo loves her. He's like, we got to do a story with Luna. I was like, all right. They might not like it. And next is Starlet, one of my favorite.
She can create energy and manipulate it for her attacks.
Pretty much, but what she is, she's Adam Warlock, but a woman. She could fly in space. She anything a star could do, she could do. But she's vain and beautiful. So she could, exist in space without a spacesuit. She could fly in space. She could shoot like plasma rays and things like. She's ultimately powerful. So she's almost like a Silver Surfer as far as energy projection, but she's vain. She wants to be a movie star. She's caught up in selfies and everything like that because she was a movie star before she got her powers. So think of Kim Kardashian becomes like one of the most powerful beings on the planet. Must go get a Starlet fan Oh, please do, DC. Please do. Please do. Oh my God, I would love it. DC Miller did some fan art of Bikini Girl, and I want to hire him to do. Oh, for good time to join. I see Magnum. We were just talking about Magnum. Why does Paul care so much about Magnum? Because Magnum was a player character that Paul created. So like Marshall Strong was my friend Mike's character. Magnum was Paul's character, and the Spartan was also Mike's character. And this last one is my favorite. That's Captain Atlas.
Right.
I think issue 5 is going to be about Captain Atlas.
Okay, from what I know about the Greek character of Atlas, something to do with strength and the ability to grow.
Okay, he's my Superman. He is the most powerful being on the planet. He could and he did literally move the earth. That's how powerful he is. The problem is he got his powers when he was already like 46 years old, you know, so he's 108 years old by this point. So just, you know, he's the most powerful guy in the world, but you know, he thinks differently, you know what I mean? He can't relate to people, you know. he fought the Korean War. He literally was a captain. A meteor hit his ship, took him down, you know, and he got this meteor.
Well, I've got two characters that might actually be older than him.
Well, I there's a couple that are definitely. Cardinal Strong is 41 years old or 10,041, depending upon your point of view. He did some time traveling. Captain Atlas has the ability to lose his hair. Yeah. Balding Cap. Yeah, I told Renzo Captain Atlas looks like Robert Duvall. You know, Robert Duvall. And he was like, okay. And
Yeah.
Looks like Robert Duvall.
I'm pretty sure the time travel aside, I'm pretty sure my character Harry Styles would probably be older than him.
Yeah. But so most of these are on the Metal League. Again, that's the Avengers. And then I think issue number 3, I'm gonna sneakily introduce the original Super Team. That shouldn't be too difficult to figure out the name if I'm using the Metal League. And let's see if there's anything else I could spoil. Well, I don't want to spoil anything else. Just such good artwork. Such good artwork. I'm so happy with everybody that I'm working with.
Well, hang on.
All right, I can't help it. I'm spoiling another page. Here's another page from the Mary Sue story. Poor Mary Sue.
Being attacked by bloody frogs.
Yeah.
Those damn Frenchmen. They just can't help themselves, can they?
Yeah, they can't help it. Yeah. It's the Frenchman, and that's the lump of cheese that the Frenchman, that somebody stole it. Don't steal a Frenchman's cheese. The Go-Getter is already my favorite. All right, that makes me feel good.
Don't steal their champagne.
Oh, we don't want to go there. That'll start an international incident. Stealing the cheese room building, stealing their wine or champagne. Forget it. There you go. So there you go. I'm glad you like the Go-Getter. Like I said, everybody. I'm gonna try to have issue 10 have everybody in the comic. And it might be like a bigger sized, you know, one story, you know, annual sized comic. But there you go. It's 8:30. I've been talking for an hour and a half. Welshman, anything you want to say that I didn't give you a chance to say? Because I think I'm going to close it down now. I want to finish the script that I've been working on for the past week.
Well, I haven't got much going on at the moment, but I do have a script that I do need to finish. At the moment, I'm trying to work on Captain Liberty, Vigilante X, and Slingshot. Because, well, do you want me to explain a bit about my superhero universe?
I thought that's why I was quiet, because I didn't want to interrupt you anymore. I felt bad.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm trying to start the universe from 2 different points in the timeline. Because with Captain Liberty, that it's the early 1920s, and when you and with Slingshot and Vigilante X, it's 2022, and at some point, the two stories will converge on the same point, because there's an event that happens worldwide that, for now, that I'm just going to refer to as the Night of Blessing. But it's going to be something that gets acknowledged across both halves of the world. Because Slingshot is set in New York and Vigilante X is in the Fallen Kingdom, which is basically the UK.
Oh, I didn't mean to make that over us. This is the cover for the script that I'm working on right now. I just can't wait. That's Tonic Ball's art of the guy reading the comic book, and that's Oscar's art and colors of everything behind him. It's not going to have the patriarch in the corner. That's just a mock-up. I'm thinking of maybe doing like little faces like Marvel used to do. But anyway,
you could put Eddie in there because the whole comic's about him.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a lot of ideas, but it's expensive, so I'm trying to stay within budget. Issue number 1, I did whatever I wanted, because how often do you get to do whatever? How often do you get to make your first comic? But I got to be realistic with issue 2s and going further. So, when do you think your comic is going to be ready?
At the moment, I'm still trying to get some of the scripts ready, because
okay,
with the early stuff in the timeline, I at least want to get straight up to the point where the original superhero team is formed with the core members.
And are you writing it, drawing it? You're doing everything?
At the moment, I'm going to try and draw Captain Liberty, Vigilante X, and Slingshot myself. But I am hoping at some point I'll be able to hire other writers and artists to help with the other comics and get them done.
Cool. Yeah. DC Miller, don't resist that urge. That would be so cool to see Go-Getter and Starlet fan art. That would be awesome. But I'm going to shut this down now. I'm going to eat my dinner. It's beef stroganoff. My wife had some ground beef that she needed to cook. I absolutely, that's one of the things that I get irrational. I don't think it's irrational. I get like furious when we throw away food. So I was like, we got to cook this ground beef, and I have like a craving for like noodles, like Chinese food, and this just satisfies me because we got to cook the meat and it's got noodles in it. So I'm happy as can be. Share that dinner with us. Come on over. We'll play a board game. Come on down to New York. We'll play a board game. Eat some beef stroganoff. But I'm gonna get going.
He can't come over. Von Coleman crashed his car.
Oh no. Oh. Vaughn lives in New Jersey. He'll come pick you up and drive over. So just remember, tomorrow at 7:00, I'm going to try that auction. I got Bill Williams, who wants to auction off a page from his wonderful comic Punchline. Bill Williams is also my letterer. And I love the comic Punchline. It's just so good. So I want to see that. Levi Skeen also confirmed that he wants to auction that off. So, it's got to be something that you can sell. So digital, I guess, wouldn't work unless somebody wants to buy the rights to say they own something. I don't know, but that it's going to be, if you want to sell something, the person who sells is going to set the rules. They're going to say minimum bid is this. I'm not going to ship to Europe, or I'm going to ship to I just sit there and facilitate. We'll try it, see if it works. And then at 8:30, it's clobber time. Man Thing versus Swamp Thing. Sunday, it's It's Sunday Comics, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Don draws stuff. He has the studio, and it's going to be a bunch of guys drawing, and I think they're going to draw the patriarch, my character. So that I have to be there. You know what I mean? I would just be rude not to show up. So I'll see you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye. And let's see that. DC Miller. Let's see that.